Is Lucas Scott. He's a professor of U.S. and international politics at the Clinton Institute, University College of Dublin. Thank you very much for joining us. So first, the two presidential camps, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, worked together to bring about the talks that led to the pause in the conflict. So what was specifically Trump's role in that deal?
So a few days after Donald Trump's election victory last November, when Joe Biden had invited him to the White House, there was a conversation. And Biden, knowing that Trump deals in terms of transactional politics, what makes Donald Trump look good, said, look, wouldn't it look good for you if on Inauguration Day, which is tomorrow, you had a ceasefire deal between Israel and Gaza? And Trump was really taken by that idea because, of course, he can, in the middle of the spectacle tomorrow, he can talk about this great deal in the Middle East. And so he had a Middle East envoy, a golfing buddy and a financier named Steve Witkoff. And Steve Witkoff worked with the Biden team in that final stage of negotiations in Doha, in Qatar. So it was Trump's envoy, the main American diplomat for the Middle East, Brett McGurk, and the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. And there was a specific one-on-one meeting between Witkoff and the Israeli Prime Minister Binyamin Netanyahu, in which Witkoff let Netanyahu know Trump wants a deal. Trump really wants a deal. There was even the implication that if Trump didn't get a deal, there might be some type of punishment of Netanyahu. And the Israelis did agree to the first stage, albeit only after severe dissent within the Israeli cabinet. So I think for that first stage of the deal, Trump and Biden did work together. The real issue is going to be, as we try to get a second phase of the ceasefire, which I think is going to be very, very difficult, what will Trump do? Will he be coherent enough, or will he revert to this kind of incoherent social media politics that might cause more harm than help?
That was going to be my next question. So once in office, what do we know about his plans? Is he going to prioritize a long-term solution for Gaza, or will his focus remain on supporting Israel's security efforts?
Well, the chatter out of the Trump camp really turns on two different things. One is that they really want Israel to get back to the Abraham Accords, and that is the accords with Arab countries for normalization. We know that there was normalization during the first Trump term with Bahrain, with other Gulf states, with Saudi Arabia supporting this in the background. But we also know that the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia in particular, said, look, there's going to be no normalization with Israel unless we get back to a path for a two-stage Palestinian solution. And of course, you can't get that without a lasting ceasefire in Gaza. But on the other hand, Donald Trump has told Benjamin Netanyahu, he told him in October, do what you have to do for your security. And Trump repeated that on social media just a few days ago. So you can't hold these two together. You cannot pursue an Israeli-Gaza ceasefire and normalization with the Arab states and give Netanyahu a blank check. And again, the problem here is that I think the biggest influence on Netanyahu will not be Donald Trump now. It will be those right-wing ministers that are threatening to bring down his government. And what does Donald Trump and his officials do about those ministers rather than Netanyahu?
Well, thank you very much, Lucas Scott, for this analysis. You're a professor of U.S. international politics at the Clinton Institute.